everybody. Welcome to another episode of Borderless. Borderless is a show I created to get stories from different people in different parts of the world. And for my episode today, I have a very good friend of mine, Elisheba. Welcome to the show, Elisheba.
Thank you so much, Michael.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. It's a Saturday, so I can't complain.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you?
It's been good. It's been good. I woke up at 8 o'clock this morning. I wanted to watch Manchester United. So, yeah, I wake up all the time for the games.
Okay.
Sometimes they have a game at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I wake up and sleep halfway.
I remember, we used to do that in Abu Dhabi. Not me, but like my brother and his friends. They'd like stay up till 2 a.m. because that's when it was starting.
It's crazy. But I like the team. I've supported Manchester United for a very long time.
Nice.
So somehow I'm emotionally connected. Emotionally connected to the team. They lose, I feel sad. They win, I feel happy. So I wake up and watch the games, and we won today. So
nice.
So yeah, that was
who
that was
did
a
they play
good
against?
one. Southampton.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the small teams.
Yeah.
But it was tough. It was a tough game.
Yeah.
It was a tough game. You're from.
So I will explain.
Yeah, please, because I get confused.
I know
you're Indian, but you grew up in Abu Dhabi. So can you tell me where you from?
Yeah. So a lot of people get very confused when I tell them where I'm from because I don't have. Okay, so basically I'm Indian. I'm from South India. I relate with the Indian culture 100%. But I was born and raised in Abu Dhabi, in the United Arab Emirates. I spent all of my 18 years there. But it's always a struggle to answer the question, where are you from? Because I've never lived in India. We only used to visit there every year when we were kids, but never lived there, so I don't know 100% about the life over there, how to live it as a citizen. And it's funny because although I was born in Abu Dhabi, I don't get the UAE citizenship, which is also confusing to people because then they'd ask me, oh, so you're born in Abu Dhabi, so you're Arab. And I'm like, no, I'm not Arab. Nothing about me is Arab. I'm just 100% Indian, and it's it's a long story. It's a struggle, but
it is. It sounds a little bit complicated to me because you've been there for 18 years. You were born there. Why don't you have a citizenship?
It's just the way the country has its laws.
So how can you get a citizenship? How does that work?
Well, you have to be local. You have to be from that country to get the citizenship. There's no other way you can get it. I read somewhere that if you're married to someone for 3 years, then you can get it.
What if either of your parents are citizen of?
I'm sure I think
or does
so.
It have to be both of them?
No, I think if one of them is from there, by the flesh, then you can get it. But both of my parents are 100% Indian. They just happened to come to Abu Dhabi in the early 90s. So.
Wow. So they've been there
and
for a long time.
They've been there for a long time. And I read on the news that if you're living in the country for 30 years, then you can get it. But my dad's gonna retire by his 30 years.
So when he retires, do you think you guys are gonna go back to India or?
So when he retires, they're probably going back to India. My dad and my mom.
You?
Or okay, so it's I don't know, I don't know, man,
yeah, it's complicated,
because you don't belong to one. Where do you belong? That's the question.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, I guess once they retire, they're gonna go back to India, or wherever God leads them to retire in a country.
Absolutely.
But by the time they retire, I'll still be working. Both of my siblings, I have 2 siblings, they'll be working too. So we're just gonna be scattered yet again.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think we met I was your TA. That's where we met, obviously. I was your TA in Gateway.
Yeah.
And Gateway is a class where freshmen, when you guys come in as freshmen, you get to learn the basics of the university, and I was a TA. I was responsible for pointing you guys out to resources you can find on campus. If you want your assignment to be checked, you have to go to the, how's it called, the office,
What assignments?
like English assignments for your
The writing center.
writing
and all
center,
that. All the campus resources.
all the campus
Yes.
resources, and just help you with your daily lives and at the university. And it was nice being a TA because I get to interact with so many people, and I think that's where we met.
Yeah.
I was that class, right?
So Michael was my first friend at OU, someone that I could actually trust because he was our peer teaching assistant. So if we had any problems, like we'd always come to Michael because he was also a student, so it was just easier, to connect with on a level.
Exactly.
And I think that class was amazing. I got to meet so many people from all around the world, and some of them are in my classes now, which is really cool. And Michael was so helpful. You were so helpful.
Thank you.
You're so encouraging, and it was just so easy to talk to. Like
Thank you.
they did a good job choosing you as a TA, and I don't think I would have wanted to have anyone else as my TA. You had a big impact
I
on
appreciate
the whole
that.
class.
I appreciate
You
that.
really
Thank you. It was nice being a TA. I think I was a TA for 2 years, and I honestly enjoyed every single moment being in the class,
Yeah.
connecting with students, and just helping them. When I came here, I was 2 weeks late.
Really?
Yes, I was
Okay.
2 weeks late as a freshman, so it was so difficult
Yeah.
for me to navigate, to connect. People had already established, friendship groups
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
I came, I think the second week or the third week was midterm week. So I was like, well, so it was so
Right, it was a
difficult
struggle,
for me.
Yeah, definitely.
But I had people who helped me out, settle in properly and all that stuff. So when I went to my sophomore year, I was like, this is a good opportunity. Why not give back?
Definitely.
I've been there, and I
Yeah.
knew how difficult it was.
Yeah.
Even although I was late, but still it was so difficult for me to settle in. So I was like, this is an opportunity for me to give back to the community. So I did that for 2 years, and honestly, it was amazing.
And I don't think you remember, but you were so encouraging when I had this one event. I was performing, playing the guitar, and I was like, I don't know how to tell the whole class, but then you encouraged, and you actually said it. And then like a bunch of people came out, and I thought that was like one of, like a cherished moment that I had with you. And also I just had my interview for it, and I was telling them about this specific incident, and they're like, oh, that's amazing. They were telling me, I'm so glad you had a really good TA who could like relate, and that was so encouraging. And I was like, yeah. And then they asked, what's your name? And I said, Michael Benga. So they wrote it down. So
Yeah, you texted me for before you went for the interview, actually. Yeah, I'm glad. I think you'll get the position. You're an amazing person, and honestly, you have the personality for that. I think you're very helpful. I think you'll do amazing.
Yeah.
I have no doubt
Thank you.
you'll get the position for sure. You'll tell me again, you'll get the position for sure. I absolutely believe in you. But going back to the whole Abu Dhabi Indian thing. So do your family like go to India for holidays? Do you like?
So when we were kids, since my parents moved there like '93, I was born in '98. So I guess we used to go to India like at least once or twice every year because it's so cheap to fly there. It's only like 4 to 6 hours even, depending on which coast you're landing in. So like tickets are cheap, and as like toddlers we had so much time on our hands, so we'd go there quite frequently for like different functions, engagements. But then we all started growing up, and everyone has a life, and it started getting busy, so we just slowly like stopped going. But the last time I went to India was 2016, so it's 3 years ago, before I came to the US to study. But I really enjoyed every time I go there. We go to my dad's place. We visit my dad's place. He's from a village, and growing up, like I made so many good friends over there. And language barrier was always a problem because growing up in Abu Dhabi, everyone there speaks English. So because everyone spoke English, I didn't catch on to Arabic very well, and I feel so guilty about it. You know, although like they'll teach us in school, even still, everyday language was English. So I never caught on to Arabic, and then my mother tongue is Telugu, and I just was never used to speaking Telugu with my parents, which is also not as good, but
so it was just English.
It was just English all the time, and then you know every time we'd go to India, my dad's village, all the kids would be talking in Telugu, and then they'd make fun of my accent. Like I'll try to speak in Telugu and stuff. But it's always a good time, you know, like so many laughs are shared, jokes are shared, and it was just, it's awesome to like see them grow up as well, and see me grow up as well, and like see how our lives are changing. You know, everyone's going to different like cities and towns for education, and even countries.
Exactly,
and,
exactly.
It's amazing.
It's good when you always like just reflect back and see the people you grew up with, you know, the different parts you all take in life. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, you know. It's like, yeah, I was a kid and then I didn't know what was going on. I just knew these people, and that was it.
Yeah.
We used to go play soccer, or we used to go, you know, just do some funny stuff. Well, 10, 15 years later, you look back, you're like, damn, like, you know, like everyone is doing something, you know.
And I felt like growing up, you know, Abu Dhabi, and every time we used to go to India, lives were so different as kids even. In India, we'd get so dirty just playing, you know, it's just dirt everywhere, especially the village. It wasn't that developed back then. And they're still working on it, but, you know, we used to play in front of this elementary school every day, like 4 p.m. to like 7, 8 once it gets dark, and I never had that life in Abu Dhabi. In Abu Dhabi, it was you know, it's a city, busy life.
It's different.
There are not many places for kids to play just roughly, you know. There are parks, and you need to like do it in a specific way. And I just like observed that, and I thought it was pretty interesting. You know, although like I'm from India, I never lived in India, and I'm living this life over here. It's different. I'm so thankful for that experience that I got to have.
Nice. You're a very, very cheerful person. You know, you're always happy. You're always smiling. You always give people hugs. You know, have you always been like that? It's like
I think I've always been like that ever since I was a kid. I just always smile for anything. I really don't know why, but I know why I really smile all the time, and it's because I always make sure that I'm surrounded by positivity, you know, and I think that's very important for like living every single day, you know, not to engage with anything that's against what you believe, against your morals, against your values. And I feel like the more you surround yourself with the things you like, the things you support, the people who support you, you're just automatically cheerful every single day. And I think it's just so important to be surrounded by that atmosphere.
Absolutely.
You know, like build your own atmosphere, like don't let anyone else build it for you. And I've always been working towards that ever since I was in high school. Like I had friends that, you know, friends, but I never like considered them that close because we just led really different lives. And I learned how to kind of control that, and then coming into college, you know, like it's always a brand new start that you have for yourself that you can, you know, set your pace at. And I guess I started that ever since I got here, and like the atmosphere at OU was just so cool. Like I really enjoy meeting people like from all walks of life, from everywhere around the world, and and that just makes me so happy. And that's what pushes me all the time to be happy.
That's cool.
So,
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, I totally agree. You know, you have to create your own atmosphere. You know, in life, we all want to be somewhere. We all like, you know, have this ideal environment in our heads. But it's up to you to actually
for sure
create.
Definitely.
You know, whether you know being in a happy atmosphere, then you have to hang out with people who, you know, pushes you to do something.
Yeah.
You know, but for you, like how you said you've always been working on that since high school? Like, how did it start? Did you?
I guess for me, it started with my company, like the people I used to hang out with, and sometimes we just never clicked mentally. You know, I'll still be with them, but I just didn't like. I never saw the point of hanging out with them sometimes, because like I wouldn't even talk, I wouldn't connect with them properly, and but I still forced myself because you know you're in high school and you just have to be with like a clique. You have to belong somewhere, and like that was the thinking I had. But you know, college, like everyone has their own lives. No one really cares about what you're doing, and I just started collecting all these like different experiences and putting it together, and that's
yeah.
how
So you've been here now and looking back. You're like, oh, I don't want to be in that position again.
Yeah.
I'm with people I don't connect with
Exactly.
anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I need to be, because we're all growing up, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, and as you're growing up, you have to look back at your past experiences, see the things that didn't work out, and say, oh, this is why
Exactly.
A and B didn't work out. You know,
Yeah.
what can I do to fix A and B?
Yeah.
You know,
It's always a learning progress.
in life, I don't think anyone has life figured out completely.
Definitely.
You know, like no matter how old you are, no matter how experienced you are, you'll still make
For
mistakes.
sure.
But it's up to you to learn from these mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, because you always have to move forward. You know, I mean, not you have to, but people, you know, go through stuff or experience some horrible circumstances, or they go through stuff. But moving forward, you always have to just, you know, get things together and say, yes, I learned A and B from this, and I'm just gonna like move on and then make sure I don't do the same things or hang out with the same people anymore.
Yeah.
You know, because we all trying to better our lives.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the only way you can do that. From learning from mistakes, learning from people, you know, and all that stuff. You I mean, like you grew up in Abu Dhabi. You're from India, but you're a Christian. You know, and I've always like wondered how that came about.
So I came across a lot of people, you know, coming to the US, automatically when they see my skin color, when they see like my ethnicity, you know, whatever they think it is, they'll assume, you know, it's Indian, I'm Indian, and then they'll also assume that I'm not Christian, so I'm Hindu, or Muslim, but Christian is never in that, like, their thoughts.
Yeah.
And I just like, you know, I always, I like telling people about my faith. So, my parents are Christian, they were raised Christian, and they actually found their faith though. You know, everyone finds their faith, although like they were raised in a certain like denomination, they all have to find it somehow, like personally for themselves. And they did it like when they were teenagers, like almost into their adulthood. And when they got married, they, you know, decided that they should also raise their kids in a more like, not like strict way, but you know, in a way that we know who our God is, like personally. And so me and my so I have two other siblings. They're both older than me. We all grew up in the church. We went to an evangelical church, and I accepted Jesus as my personal savior when I was 3 years old in my Sunday school. And ever since then, you know, it's been a rough ride, and it still is. But God just has His way of putting Himself in your life, and how that manifests in everything you do.
Absolutely.
Like I was talking to this one friend I have in OKC, and he always thought that I was Hindu, but he never told me it. He never told me anything about it. And he posted something on his Instagram story, and I respond to it, and I said, you know, I'm so glad God blessed me with this beauty. We're made so perfectly and wonderfully in His image. And I told him, like, I'm so thankful that, you know, He's blessed me with beauty like this. And then he said, I'm so thankful that you said that. And I said, yeah. And then he said, wait, you're Christian? And I said, wait, hold on. What did you think? I bet you thought I was Hindu. And he's like, yeah, I mean, you know, people will like, they'll just assume that you're something else because of what you look like.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, I would always encourage to always ask questions, even though you feel like you'll offend a person. It's always good to have that conversation after.
No, absolutely.
You know, it'll always like build your knowledge,
Absolutely.
build your wisdom, and I'd always encourage people to.
So how do you deal with it though? Like, does it get annoying at some point? Because people see you and stereotypically they wanna like just put you in this box. Oh, this is where you belong because you look this way.
Right.
Like, how do you deal with that?
So, growing up in Abu Dhabi, so it's a Muslim country, and over there, like, I feel anyone who grew up in a country that's not of their home, not their home culture, totally different religion that dominates the country, it builds your like perspective on the world, and it makes you be respectful of the different cultures that exist. And the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, I think is the melting pot of the world. And I just got to be exposed to so many different religions and cultures. And so whenever people ask me, like, you know, when they think that I'm not Christian, it never hurts me. Like, it doesn't offend me, because I've gained so much respect of different religions. Like, you know, I'll tell them like with so much respect, like, yeah, I'm not this. This is what I relate with. This is what I believe with, and they're always respectful. You know, like, you know, if you think that people are not gonna like respect what you say, they actually will, because the more you go through life, the more you meet people, your thinking will start to change. You know,
Absolutely.
your thoughts and like your opinions.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, so I never get hurt when people like think I'm not Christian, like when they like totally assume that I'm something else. But I always like telling people, you know, the truth.
No, absolutely. And just like you said, the more you meet people, the more you have a wider perspective on life, basically. You know, because we all have different experiences. We all have something to you know bring to the table. You know, I'm from Sierra Leone, you're from India, but you grew up in Abu Dhabi. You know, you can tell me, I can learn so much from you, you can learn so much from me, you know, and back home, it's always just been Muslims and Christians, you know, but just being overseas, I've been exposed to all these other religions, and not just being exposed, I've also learned how to respect other people's religion. You know, so it teaches you a lot. It teaches you a lot, and like you said, you always just find a way to tell them you're Christian. I feel like that's just an amazing opportunity for people to know who Jesus is, who God is as well. You know, so they come to you like, oh, you Hindu, and you're like, no, I'm a Christian, and you tell them what you believe, you tell them about the gospel. You know, so I mean, I like.
And honestly, like, people, you know, even in school, like, people always used to ask me, like, why am I so happy? We're having an exam. Ellie, why are you so happy? Or grades come out. Ellie, why are you so happy? It's literally because God created us to live in harmony, right? And it's literally the Holy Spirit that's in me. I don't need to fear about like circumstances. I don't need to fear about the future. I don't need to fear about like what's gonna happen, because I know that regardless of what it is, I'm programmed to think in the way that God has it under control.
Absolutely.
That's why I don't need to put a sad face.
Absolutely.
Like even still till now, people still ask me, Ellie, why are you so happy? It's literally because I have, for me personally, I have the Holy Spirit, and that's what pushes me to go the extra mile and not be afraid of what's gonna happen.
It's life is gonna bring a series of storm at you, but it's just for a time. It passes and then life goes on again. So you really can't let something that happened to you deter you from moving forward.
Definitely.
You just gotta stay happy, and that's how you keep the devil away. Despite him inflicting you with so many pain, so much pain, if you stay happy, he's gonna leave. So that's a good approach.
Definitely.
And I really admire you, because you're so serious with how you love God, with your Christianity. You go to church, You know, you play instruments,
Yeah.
which is amazing. I know you play the guitar.
Yeah.
I've seen you play the piano in the union a couple of times, and I always want to just poke you, and I'm like, no, she's busy, you know. So
No, you should still come.
so usually I just pass by.
No, you should. Yeah, I really get encouraged when I'm playing in different places and people just pop by, you know, it's familiar faces.
Mm-hmm.
It's really encouraging, like, and I'm speaking on behalf of like every other musician I've met. It's so encouraging when your friends support the gift that you have, support the talent that you believe in. That literally pushes me to go the extra mile. So, you know, whenever you see me at the union, poke me.
I will poke you next time, I promise. I will poke you next time. But absolutely, it's true, you know. People have gifts, people have talent, and one of the reasons usually it doesn't manifest, it's because there aren't people out there who you know, you need motivation. No matter who you are, you definitely need someone to say, hey, this is good, you know, keep doing this. No matter how much you believe in yourself, you know, no matter how much you feel like you have it all under control, you definitely need people around you. You definitely need people to tell you, hey, keep moving, like this is good stuff. You know, and as young people growing up, that's something we should do, you know, support one another.
My mom is my #1 support system, especially with music. You know, even my brother is really into it. He has his own band in the UK. They're based in the UK.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
And they're going places, which is amazing. They're called Guyana.
Guyana?
Yeah,
I'll
Guyana.
check them out.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Guyana. Guyana, the band. Yeah. Guyana. Yep. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, that's it.
Nice.
Oh, Spotify.
Spotify
Yeah,
is my
Spotify. So I posted this picture on my Facebook 6 years ago, and it was me sitting like on the corner of like a group picture. I don't know, I think I was like 4 years old, 5 years old. I was really tiny, and we had a group performance on stage with like 50 other kids, and I posted this picture 6 years ago, and my mom commented 6 years ago, but I didn't even see that comment, and she said, no wonder, Ellie, like ever since you were this young, you'd always look at your master, like the guitar person playing the guitar, and like literally everyone would be singing and you're only looking at him, you know. She said that, but I never saw the comment until today, and then she commented today again, and I think she was going through like old memories on Facebook, and then she said that, you know, you're so blessed to have this talent, like just keep pursuing it. And literally, like without her, I would not have gotten with my talent to where I am now. She's driven me to like all of my practices, like she would come to all of my concerts. Like it was only her, not even my siblings, you know.
That's amazing.
And you know, like there are 100 people in a room, like 99 won't believe in you. It literally takes like one person. Literally only one, and
just one
that
person.
can take you like skyrocket. You can just skyrocket up.
Exactly.
With how much faith that one person has in you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's one of the reasons I'm trying to record all those series, you know, just stories from different parts of the world, because really no matter where you're from, you can make it in life.
Yeah.
You know, and I just want people out there to just hear stories from different parts, because the bottom line is we all have goals, we all have places we want to go, we all have, you know, dreams and aspirations. But sometimes because you're from a certain place, you're like, oh, I don't think I can be able to, you know, achieve this. Also, I want the stories to, you know, inspire people to continue to, you know, whether you play the guitar or whether you feel like, oh, I can't finish school, you know, I want you to be inspired and say, hey, this person is from this place, and look at what they're saying. They've been through so much, and still they just had one person supporting them. You know, and sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes that's all you need.
Definitely.
Just that one person who can say, hey, continue to push, continue to do this. You know, God's got you, you can do this. You know, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this. Just trying to like inspire people
that's
through
awesome.
through the stories, and that's one of the reasons I created this platform basically.
I'm glad you started this.
I'm loving it so far. It's cool.
How many have you had on the show so far?
This is my third.
Nice.
This is my third episode.
Nice.
Yeah. So how many instruments do you play?
I can. So I started learning the guitar and keyboard since I was 7 years old. I started with the guitar and the keyboard, but I just I realized like I should stick to one instrument, so I chose the guitar. And why did I choose the guitar? I honestly don't know. I guess I was 7 years old. Like I had so many choices, and the electric guitar was always something that like really caught my eye. And also at that point, my two other siblings, they chose the drums and the keyboard, so they were going after the drums, and I was like, okay, I'll go after the guitar. So I totally dropped the keyboard, focused on Spanish guitar, classical guitar, and then I kept doing that till like 9th grade. But sometime around in probably 5th or 6th grade, I discovered my love for the piano, and I've never played the piano, never knew how to use the pedals, like what are the pedals for even, but I'd go to the music room like every single day and just figure out how the pedals work, how it works, and slowly I was just increasing my knowledge about the piano, and I realized like I love it so much, and although like I focus on the guitar, I play the piano way too much now. I think it's one of my favorite instruments to play. It's so flexible. And whoever wants to learn an instrument, I think the keyboard/piano is the first one to learn, because I feel like if you can play that, you can play any other instrument.
I feel like
you need to learn the keyboard.
I need to get busy. I need to get busy.
It's honestly the easiest instrument to learn, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Guitar will take time, definitely, because your fingertips have to get adjusted. And I remember like getting all these blisters when I was just a kid, but it never stopped me because I just really liked to learn it.
Yeah, so
but then now all my friends are playing and they're like, Ellie, how to get rid of this? And I'm like, just keep practicing, just keep grinding, and your fingers will get tough and they'll get used to it.
So is there like a point where you get to where no matter how much you play, you don't get blisters?
Yeah, you don't. I mean, at a point of time, if you stop, you'll start getting the blisters again. And that happened to me. Like when I came here, I stopped playing the guitar, more of piano. So like I still have blisters, and sometimes my fingers even bleed. If I'm not, so I don't play with a guitar pick. I like to use my nails, and if I don't have nails, like they'll start to like hurt a bit.
That's wild.
But that adrenaline of playing it'll just block all that pain away, which is amazing. And you can just keep going on and on and on, and so I can play the guitars, I can play the acoustic, classical, I can play a bit of the bass. I feel like once if you know one guitar, everything else is the same, basically.
It doesn't take much time to adjust to the others.
And then I can play the piano, the keyboards, I can play the drums, I can play the recorder. I tried learning the violin over the past summer, but I think it's a very hard instrument to learn on your own, because you need to hold the bow a certain way, and I think I never got
Did you watch a YouTube video?
Oh yeah, I watched 1,000 YouTube videos. I even asked some of my friends who learned the violin, but I just couldn't do it by myself. I needed someone to teach me, but I didn't invest in that. So I think it's just good to if you like one instrument, learn it to like the maximum capacity you can.
Like just focus.
Just like
focus on
do it well, like just be the best at it. If you have one talent, be the best at that talent. Like don't let anyone stop you, because we're all created to like be the best that we can be in something.
Absolutely.
That's my goal of being the best. Well, I really like the guitar and the piano, so I guess just being the best that I can.
Absolutely.
In both of those instruments. Yeah.
I mean, you have power within you to be so great in whatever you focus on. I feel like a lot of people don't get that concept.
Yeah.
Like all you have to do is dedicate time you know, and that's it. That's all you need to do. Just focus on what you want to learn. Like
Yeah.
you've been doing this since you were 7.
Yeah.
You know, that's a long.
Right.
That's over 10 years.
Right.
You know, that's a long time. And you've played at casinos here in the States. You've played at concerts.
Casinos.
You ever wind? You.
I never played it.
Oh, I thought you were there the other day.
No.
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 Oh, wait. You invited me to. Where was it?
Second win.
Second win. My bad. Second win. I honestly thought it was River Win Casino.
No.
Second win.
Second win coffee house.
Oh. You know, in my
Yeah.
head, it was the casino. Second win.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like
Yeah.
how do you get those calls?
So, you know, as musicians, like we always try to like play in any place we can, even if it's not paid. I mean, we're always, you know, trying to get paid for the talent we have,
Absolutely.
but it's even more rewarding when you can just give it for free, because it's freely given to us. You know,
Mhm.
we should freely give it to people
Yeah.
so they can see what we have, and it's just good to share all that,
Appreciate
like,
it so people
you know,
can
yeah.
appreciate.
So first of all, like when I first came to OU, I jammed with a couple of musicians, and one of my friends, Joshua Jackson, and the star Zalta. He would always invite me to like all these different gigs to play for him, and yeah, we just used to play together all the time. And I think like opportunities like slowly started to open up from there,
Mhm.
and then so it's been 3 years now since I'm at OU, and every semester I'm meeting new people, and it's just different ways of like opening up opportunities. And like this one time I met one of the managers from Second Win, and he said, "Hey, we're having an open mic night. Do you want to play?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm down."
Yeah.
And so that's how we got to play there. That's how we knew about it. And then I was in the engineering college one day, and I was telling my friend about my gig at Second Wind. And then in the same room, there was another girl, and she was part of the Asian American Student Association. And she was saying, "Wait, you play music? Like, do you want to play for us?" And I said, "Yeah, like definitely." You know, so like that's how opportunities
That's
just open up.
amazing.
You just go to different places, you talk about it, and
That's amazing.
there's always someone in the room that's
Absolutely.
looking for talent.
Absolutely. That's super
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So you just rounding up. You came to the US to study. What made you decide to come here? Like not Abu Dhabi or India,
Yeah.
when you came to the US.
So, you know, so I feel like Abu Dhabi is it's a very temporary place for people. It's like a
So
come and go thing, you know.
I see.
So I spent all my 18 years there, and I realized like it's time for me to like experience something new, you know. And for me personally, like I didn't feel Abu Dhabi was a place for me to grow as an individual, especially in my transitioning years, so teenage to like adulthood. And for some reason I just always liked the US. I don't know what it was about
Have
it.
you been to the US before?
I
you
haven't
came?
never been to the US prior to coming.
But
you know, in
they do
2016.
such a good job in advertising.
Oh yeah, they do.
themselves.
Yeah. It's all, you know. We
Yeah.
always watch all their like shows. Like it's
Exactly.
everything about like the US is in Abu Dhabi.
Exactly.
And I guess
Exactly.
like that's one of the factors that played a role in my decision coming here. And also the school I went to was an international school.
Oh, I see.
And most of the students that graduated, they'd always apply to the US, Canada, and Europe mostly. So, you know, automatically I was in that category too. So when it came to like deciding on colleges, I knew I wanted to pursue a degree in petroleum engineering. And I was looking for colleges, and I found OU, but it wasn't on my top of the list. Like I applied anyway. And surprisingly, when, you know, decision time was happening, OU came to Abu Dhabi on a recruiting admission thing. And I met a lady, and her name is Amina, and she played a really big role in my decision process.
Amina is amazing.
She is awesome, and I love her so much.
She was my boss.
Yeah. she just did such a good job in just, you know, like talking about OU and like their course and how much they value so many different things. And so I took that into consideration, but then even when I was like saying yes and no to universities, like I didn't want to come to OU just because it was Oklahoma, and I didn't want that big transition of, you know, like a city girl to like country girl. Yeah, and but you know, at the end it was my dad's decision as well because he was paying for my everything. So he said, go to Oklahoma, like that's it. And I said, okay. So I wasn't too happy on coming here, you know, just because it was Oklahoma, like. And prior to come to the US, I thought the whole country was like the same kind of weather, same land.
But it's so
diverse. It's so diverse, and I thought Oklahoma is a cold state. Like it's cold, it's gonna snow. Like I really like the winters because you know, growing up in Abu Dhabi, we had the hottest summers.
So you like the cold?
I really love the cold. Like I like this weather right now, and people like hate me for it. It's okay.
I mean, you like it because school is getting cancelled?
I mean, yeah, that is nice. I mean, we had like 2 weeks in a row where school got cancelled.
I had an exam on Thursday, my music exam, and school got cancelled. You know, I was like, ooh,
that's crazy.
That's off my head.
You see, that's why it's nice, like in cold states, but.
But they hardly cancel class here.
Exactly.
You know, like,
yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's why I decided. So like I decided OU because it's one of the tops in the petroleum engineering programs in the country. So that's primarily the reason why I chose to come here. Otherwise, I would have like loved to go to Penn State where I got into. But
that's awesome.
So far, so good. OU totally changed my perspectives on like different things.
Yeah.
For example, I never saw stars in my life. Like,
what do you mean?
Like 1,000 billion stars in the sky. So, because in the UAE, it's all light pollution. We live on the 16th floor, and we're pretty high up, and we only see like 3 stars in the sky.
Oh, really?
Only 3 stars, unless you go out into the desert and you see like everything else.
That's insane.
But that was barely the case. And then I remember my freshman year, I went camping in September, and my friend called me out and she was like, hey, do you want to try s'mores? And I'm like, oh, s'mores my first time. And I was so excited, like we're sitting on the bonfire and I'm eating this s'more. And I don't know why, but I just like decided to look up, and I looked up and my mind was blown.
Oh yeah?
I've never seen those many stars. Never. And even if I did, it was probably in India when I was like little. And I was so shocked, like they exist like that. And I remember like every single week after that, me and my friends would go stargazing.
And this was 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Wow.
When I was 18 years old,
wow.
I saw stars. Those many stars for the first time, and it just, and like Oklahoma just opened up so many different things for me, like I've never seen before.
That's amazing.
And that's why I just, I really like the fact that I decided to come here.
That's amazing. And the sunsets in Oklahoma.
Oh, they're the best. They're the best in the world.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's
the world.
amazing. It's amazing.
It's awesome.
Sometimes I go jogging in the morning and I saw the sun rising. And it's beautiful.
So many different colors in the sky.
It's beautiful.
That's something in Abu Dhabi that they never gave. Like Abu Dhabi never gave me that experience, because both the sunrise and the sunset are the most boring. Like it's literally just very like a monotone color, just like blue to yellow to orange. Like.
Put you to bed, yeah.
But here there are clouds. Over there are no clouds whatsoever. No clouds. You won't see clouds in the year.
That's crazy.
Never, except in December. But yeah, here you have clouds. You have like pretty sunsets, sunrises, and I'm glad I came here. I'm seeing so many things that I would not have seen back in Abu Dhabi if I chose to stay there. So.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm happy for you.
Thankful, yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
Just rounding up. What are the challenges you face? Like being an international student, so far away from home, no mom, no dad, it's just you. You're sick, it's you. Like what are like some of the challenges you face just being here?
So definitely one of the challenges is being so far away from home. You can't see your family like when you want to see them. And also them being in the UAE, the UAE blocked all calling features on all the apps, and they have their own calling app, which is paid for the people inside the UAE, but I can get it for free. And even then, like, I don't get to talk to them when I want to, because like times are so different, and like their lives are so different as well. Like, we don't get too much time to call each other, and even like calling on the phone would take up so much credit on their end and even on my end.
So
like
you can't use WhatsApp to call.
you can't use WhatsApp. You can't use anything to
Facebook?
call them. Nothing.
Wow.
And they just banned Skype 2018. So Skype was like the only way I got to see their face like all the time. But like now I really can't.
So the
unless you use
app that the UAE provides, can you video call?
Yeah, you can video call, but the quality is like really bad. And compared to Skype, it's...
Can you chat with
Yeah.
them on WhatsApp?
Yeah, we can chat. Like, we
But
always
there's
send
no
like
calls.
voice records and stuff,
Oh.
but it's not the same. It's not real.
Yeah, I feel that.
But literally, like every single time I get to talk to them, hear the voice, it's so refreshing. That's one of the challenges, just communication with family. And another one would be, as an international student, I just What's another one? Being away from home. I don't know, like ever since I came here. Actually, maybe like also making decisions, because you're a student, and I guess making decisions is like part of everyone's college years challenge. It's like what track to take, will you graduate on time, should you do this over the weekend? And I think it's just, as I said, it's always a learning process, progress in thing. But I feel like if I had my parents with me, if I like could communicate with them easier, I would make these decisions like better, make more wiser decisions. But I guess everyone has different experiences that they go with, and this is mine, which I'm always learning from.
Absolutely.
So
that's the most
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
As long as you're learning from it, and I feel like it's it's tough. You have to make decisions for yourself, but again, it prepares you for the future.
Yeah,
You know,
for
like
sure.
you start learning how to take responsibility.
Definitely.
Because life is how do you say do it yourself?
Yeah. DIY.
Yeah, it's literally
Yeah.
DIY. Like you
Yeah.
have to do it. You have to make
Definitely.
all these decisions yourself.
Definitely.
If you want to be better, you have to make. Sometimes you just have to fail, take the wrong path,
Yeah.
and then after some time you're like, no, this isn't where I want to
You're
be.
right. Yeah.
And you say, okay, I'll take the other route.
Yeah.
So it's tough. Well, again, we're all learning, and
Yeah.
sometimes you fail, sometimes if you're lucky enough, you make the right choice.
And like another challenge, I was just thinking like growing up in Abu Dhabi, and I guess the way my culture works as well, your parents are always there to support you. Like they'll be there for you whenever you need anything. Like they'll provide for you, like they'll give you money whenever you ask, and it's not hard at all. But after coming here, I realized like a lot of the Americans, like they pay for their own college, they do things themselves, because that's just the way the culture works here, and it works differently back home. And like that's one of the what do you say? Not culture shocks, but it was a bit shocking to me.
Eye-opener for you.
Yeah, eye-opening. Yeah. Like learning that people like need. It's kind of like a need that they have to, do it themselves. Like their parents won't provide for them. Like after
Exactly.
they turn 18,
Exactly.
like you're an adult.
Exactly.
But back home in Abu Dhabi, like India, like you stay with your parents until you're married.
It's the same.
Kind of
It's the
thing,
same. But can you have jobs like?
Yeah, of course.
So if you're 18 and you're just from high school, can you like work?
So in Abu Dhabi, when you can't, I think you can work once you're 18.
Yeah. So recently I met my Uber driver, and he told me he worked for AT&T for 45 years.
Wow.
Yeah, like straight out of high school, and he got his job, and he's been working with them for 45 years, which is insane.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. That's insane.
You know, but back home, like, if you need a job, you have to go to college.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
it's different.
And it's also like, you know, times have changed drastically. I remember like my dad, he applied to his college, and it was a very random thing. Like his older brother said like he had to go to college, and boom, applied and then got in. But that college now, so like keep in mind, my dad went from a village. Like he came from a village, no English education until like 10th grade. So we only learned English in the 10th grade. And now his vocabulary is like mind blowing. And he applied to college because someone told him to apply. Otherwise he wouldn't have applied, and he'd just start working, you know, after graduating high school. But now that school, like that college my dad went to, you need to have 2,400 in your SATs. 2,400. You need to have 800 out of 800 in your subject stats.
Wow.
Like the bar is set up so high for that school now, but it's amazing to think like how times have changed, and you know, people have changed.
Yeah,
like,
it's more people, so
yeah,
things are getting more competitive.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know, it's great. And I was thinking the other day, like that, you know, phones, like the iPhones, it's like $1,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm thinking like in the next 10, 20 years. Like, are they gonna be $2,000? Like, are they gonna be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not like people's income are increasing. You know, like income isn't increasing for people.
Yeah.
So are they just gonna be like even cars, for example?
Right.
Are they just gonna be like super expensive houses? Are they just? I mean, as time, I don't know if at some point it's gonna, you know, like, oh, we're gonna have like good leaders who are gonna say, you know what, things are getting tough for people. Let's reduce the prices of this.
Yeah.
Because the way it's going right now, it's like in the next 10, things are just gonna be like super expensive.
Yeah.
I don't think there's gonna be an increase in pay or anything. Like, you're still gonna earn the same amount of money. And
so many people are gonna exist at that point, you know, like
more people
are
too.
they gonna give
exactly
higher incomes, lower incomes? Are they gonna lower it? And then increase everything else? So,
it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, thank you so much for being on the show. You know, it's
Thanks
been
for
an amazing.
having me. I'm so glad.
The pleasure is all mine. Just rounding up, do you have like any advice for, you know, youngsters listening to this, watching this, you know, their life, career, and just anything you have?
I'll say that number one, always try to surround yourself with positive-minded people and like-minded people. You know, they always say that the 5 people around you are like you're most likely to become like them. It's said out there. I mean, it's not proven or anything, but if you actually think about it, you know, who are you surrounding yourself with? Like, think about that. Are they pushing you to be greater than you are right now? Are you hanging out with people that are already so great? Like, they'll push you to be greater, you know? So that's like one question I'd leave listeners with. Just to, you know, build yourself up. And not to, like, if you're hanging out with someone and you're a greater influence on them, don't let them influence you, you know? Like, try to always influence people so you can bring them up instead of them bringing you down.
Exactly.
Second, I would always encourage people to pursue what they really love. I mean, that's like the most said line, but it's really true.
It is.
It makes you happy every single day. It's such a joy to live. I really love doing music. Like, I love jamming with people. Like, that's my number one thing that I do. I love doing besides school, and just always have a hobby. You know, something on the side that can just like keep you going. Yeah, keep you going. And third, I always suggest and advise to move out of your comfort zone, step out of that box, and just experience what the world has to offer, because the world is so big. It's huge, and you'll meet so many different people, and like people just influence you crazily. And I think it's important to kind of like to just live out that you know, that like that curiosity kind of thing. Like, always be curious, and you'll keep asking questions.
Absolutely.
Like, just keep learning no matter what. Just keep building yourself up, and you never stop. Like, there's never like like a line, you know, defined line, like, okay, yeah, I've learned this much, like, I'm done, like, nah.
There's always
You know, you
next
always keep
level.
learning until the day God comes.
Yeah.
Like, just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like, just keep moving up the hill. And yeah, that's my top 3 that I always try to do.
That's awesome.
So
Hey,
yeah,
it's been a pleasure having you. Thank you so much.
Michael.
I appreciate it.
My pleasure.